The objective of the Green Agenda include facilitating the implementation of environmental conservation practices, facilitate the adoption of green renewable energy, implement green self-regulation, and facilitate capacity building and awareness creation on green manufacturing.
Now moving on, at Law Development Center Court filled to capacity with relatives, National Unity Platform party leaders and NUP supporters was the municipality members of parliament, Francis Zake, in the court dock. Before Magistrate Martins Curia, Member of Parliament Zake, through his legal team led by lawyer George Musisi, asked court to grant him bail, Alan Sewanyana, Nyeko Derek, among others. The court that adjourned for 3 hours, prosecution objected to Francis Zake's application, saying that some of the presented sureties are non-substantial among the grounds. He asked court to deny Zake bail. Magistrate Martins Curia, at around 3 p.m. on return, he granted Francis Zake bail. Zake is facing charges of careless use of a motor vehicle, driving a vehicle without a driving permit, and disobedience of lawful orders. In the same court, 9 suspects were on charges of taking part in a lawful assembly were also released in a cash bail of 100,000 each. The accused were arrested around National Unity Platform offices in Kavule Makere, trying to protest over the alleged 1.7 billion corruption case. After court, lawyers and NUP leaders talked to the media. Meanwhile, at Uganda Road, Chief Magistrate's Court, the former Deputy Rubaga Division RCC, Anderson Burora, is facing 8 counts of hate speech and spreading malicious information against the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among. Prosecution led by Richard Birivumbuka says the case before the Chief Magistrate Ronald Kaizi first objected to Burora's bail application on grounds that he failed to present substantial sureties and the accused failed to present to court his place of abode, among other grounds. The prayers were, however, objected by Burora's legal team. Magistrate Ronald Kaizi, after listening to both sides' submissions, overruled prosecution's prayers by granting Anderson Burora bail, however, with stringent bail terms. Biamukama is one of the lawyers representing Anderson Burora.
And back to Parliament, the casket carrying the body of the late former Member of Parliament for Moroto Municipality, Honorable Simon Peter Alapa, was being brought into Parliament aboard an A-plus funeral vehicle and welcomed by the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Parliament at the entrance. It was ushered into the lobby of Parliament, where members of Parliament, relatives and friends of the deceased were gathered to do body viewing and also pay tribute to their fallen colleague. They also used this time to view some of the debates on the floor of Parliament, of which the late deliberated in representing the people of Moroto in the 9th Parliament. At 2, a special sitting to pay tribute to the late was started with communication from the chair, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, who said the late was very vocal in bringing unique issues of Karamoja to the floor of Parliament. The Deputy Speaker then welcomed the casket carrying the body of the late into the chambers of Parliament for members to pay tribute. After singing the national anthem, they then proceeded to the activity of laying of wreath, starting with the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, followed by the Vice President, then the Prime Minister and Leader of Opposition followed. The Prime Minister, Rob Nabanja, moved the motion of resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late for his distinguished service. She gave a justification that among the short assignments, the late supported personal contribution of government to Northern Uganda Reconciliation Program. The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, said that the late was very steadfast, who stood for clear values. She, however, said that issues surrounding the accident is all in hearsay. Joseph Sewungu, Member of Parliament Kalungu, who represented the leader of opposition, said the late's contribution was not in doubt, however, emphasizing that issues of government investing into having clear roads is something that government must make good of.
Now, in other news, 32% of the youth in schools undergo drug abuse, a vice that affects their mental and social well-being, hence resulting into school dropouts. With this, parents have been urged to be at the forefront in ensuring children desist from such acts. Dr. Agre Chibenge, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, made the call during the 3rd National Prefects Conference 2024 held in Kampala. Over 100 prefects, who are students from various schools across the country, have undergone a one-day conference aimed at sensitizing them on drugs and substance abuse and mental health. The conference was graced by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Dr. Agre Chibenge. He appealed to parents to be at the forefront in ensuring the right upbringing of children to help them desist from vices of drug abuse. Chibenge also urged the prefect students to ensure that the fight starts with them through spreading the gospel to the students they lead. Dr. Hafswa Lukwata, the head of Division Mental Health in the Ministry of Health, cited the need for students to join mental health clubs so as they are kept in the know of the effects of drug abuse. Other participants who attended the conference commended the cause. The 3rd National Prefects Conference 2024, spearheaded by Drugs Hapana Initiative, was held under the theme Drug Abuse Effects on Mental Health. Well, Chantal, with that, we now come to the end of our local news. But allow me, in a special way, send greetings to my niece. Happy birthday, Lillian Nachiseka. I love you very, very much. I hope you enjoy your day, and you're getting close to 30.
Oh.
I said it.
Ooh, that is...
I thought violence was
She's
for
going
Monday.
to kill me.
That's an
She's not
abomination.
30.
I thought violence was for Monday, but it is well. Well,
Moms are like that.
we wish her a very happy birthday now. We cross over. Let's see what is happening on the international scene. And the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, who is expected to be the Democratic nominee, and this is for November's presidential election, has held what she called frank and constructive talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, striking a tougher tone than President Joe Biden. Ms. Harris said she made clear her serious concerns about the casualties in Gaza, telling Mr. Netanyahu how Israel defended itself mattered. It is time for this war to end, she said, after their face-to-face talks at the White House. Ms. Harris also stressed the need for a path to a two-state solution, while calling on Americans to be aware of nuance on the conflict. Early on Thursday, Mr. Netanyahu met Mr. Biden, who stepped down from his re-election campaign on Sunday. Mr. Netanyahu's meetings at the White House came a day after he gave a fiery speech to Congress, vowing total victory against Hamas as thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters demonstrated outside. The Prime Minister faces pressure both at home and abroad to bring an end to the Israeli-Gaza war, now in its 9th month. Away from that, one of the world's biggest drug lords, Ismael El Mayo Zambada, leader of Mexico's Sinaloa cartel, has been arrested by U.S. federal agents in El Paso, Texas. Zambada, 76, founded the criminal organization with Joaquim El Capo Guzman, who is currently jailed in the U.S. Arrested with Zambada on Thursday was Guzman's son, Joaquim Guzman Lopez, said the U.S. Justice Department. In February, Zambada was charged by U.S. prosecutors with a conspiracy to make and distribute fentanyl, a drug more powerful than heroin that has been blamed for the U.S. opioid crisis. In a written statement on Thursday evening, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the two men lead one of the most violent and powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. El Mayo and Guzman Lopez joined a growing list of Sinaloa cartel leaders and associates who the Justice Department is holding accountable in the United States, Mr. Garland said. Fentanyl is the deadliest drug threat our country has ever faced, and the Justice Department will not rest until every single cartel leader, member and associate responsible for poisoning our communities is held accountable, added Mr. Garland, the top law enforcement officer in the U.S. Now, lastly, deaths caused by landslide in Ethiopia have risen to 257, but the final death toll is expected to be 500, according to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. The UN agency released the figures on Thursday after the landslides in the mountainous Gofa zone in southern Ethiopia, the first triggered by heavy rains on Monday, the second engulfing those who had gathered to rescue people. The revised death toll is an increase of 28 in figures provided by Ethiopia's National Disaster Risk Management Commission on Tuesday. Hundreds of people combed through red mud at the scene of the disaster in the Kencho Saka locality, searching for survivors of the deadliest landslide recorded in Africa's second most populous country. More than 15,000 affected people need to be evacuated, and the figures included at least 1,320 children, as well as 5,293 pregnant women and new mothers. And that's it for our international stories. Let's see what's in the dailies today, and Jerome Paul has those.
Well, according to the New Vision, they are highlighting that more parish chiefs have been arrested following the PDM cash saga. The suspects demanded 50,000 shillings per beneficiary of the PDM cash, according to the New Vision. Then also meet Irish-Ugandan captaining, the Irish-Ugandan captaining Team Uganda as the Olympics kick off. Then the Beat magazine, Latino dance, the Latino dance crazy grips many Ugandans. Then Harvest Money become an expert at raising goats. Then in the protests, President Museveni speaks out on anti-graft demonstrations as a wife snatcher has been fined 10 million Ugandan shillings in the report coming in from the marriage series in Uganda. Then the Daily Monitor today is also talking about the protests and President Museveni's speech. General Museveni nails protesters to New Cross as Parliament is a no-go zone again as youth returned to the streets yesterday. There is a pictorial at the front page of the Daily Monitor showing you some of the young people who were arrested yesterday during the demonstrations. Then in the Scoop magazine, expect a show to remember. I have compiled 3 music volumes, says Irene Namobiru, who takes the stage this evening. Now, lastly, from the press review, the Daily Nation, Raila move fuels Azimio breakup as the opposition leaders unhappy with former Prime Minister's decision to work with the government. Now, here comes your next police boss, Kanja named to top post in Kenya. As lights, camera, action, Paris Olympics show gets underway. As someone says, I watched Mackenzie starve my wife and daughter to death. Also, court halts rollout of digital ID cards. Then in crime, probe on after doctor plugs to his death. Then in the political situation, is Ruto a political genius? How Ruto shifted his baggage to rivals. The Daily Nation gives you more. And well, that is it from our press review this Friday.
Well, thank you, Jerome Paul. Now, being a Friday, you know what happens every single Friday. We have a great lineup of guests and also performances. Now, this very morning, we're going to be having a conversation with a private lecturer who is a nature ambassador and he's going to be hosted by Irene Allen Namisango. We're also going to be having a vocal musician, that is Fine Cedra, who is going to be launching us into the weekend. But also we are going to be having a conversation with Barbara Atsasira, who is the CEO Tasso Films, and who is organizing a women's expo and at the National Theatre. Of course, we'll be having more details. That is how the lineup looks like this morning, and I'm looking forward to these conversations and some great music. But for now, let's get into a very short break, and the song of the day is Wake Up by Skylar Blatt and Chris Brown.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala.
I think that is the best way man can make things happen, can make rain happen, I should say. But nonetheless, you said you can
I need to know that process, but please continue.
But you said you can make it rain as well. I don't know how you can make it rain.
I'm a rainmaker.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And all the rainmakers there, good morning to you and good morning Fridays. I'm definitely here to make sure that we take you through everything that has been happening throughout the week, and then ushering you into the weekend in the best way we can, or in the best way we do as the team here on Good Morning Uganda. And well, of course, again, welcome on board.
Thank you, Jerome. Over 10,000 athletes sailed down the Seine that was on yesterday, and that was poised to be the most ambitious Olympic opening ceremony ever attempted. And this week we are starting, and this says they are intended to revolutionize the games, yet remain accessible to a broad audience. And guess what? Over 1 billion people around the world are expected to tune in and be abreast with the details of what is happening in Paris at the moment. And that is just briefly the detail. But other members of the team, like Chirabo Robert, Uncle Bob for Friday, and Olive Monica Najima, must have had stories that stood out during the course of the week. But first, Olive, can you make it rain?
Chantal.
I've got my answer, please. What story stood out for you during the quiz?
That question is quite huge, and there are different approaches to it. Meanwhile, I'm trying to sound like Sonko. So
you're trying to be political. I see.
There are different approaches. Bagamba bobo oli akatogo. Onengeri jo katandika.
So the rain depends on the eating.
So that Chirabo, leave me alone.
I don't understand.
Chirabo, leave me alone. But anyway, can you make it rain? Can I make it rain? It depends. When it comes to money, that's a story for another day, because I do not want to be waylaid. So we move with our secrets. And I don't know what else Chantal is talking about, so I will not address that point. But good morning, Chantal, and the gentlemen on the team, plus our viewers, and of course to Godwin, who looks really nice. I was going to use a certain word that I won't. Good morning.
You're forgetting
it's a Friday.
the producer.
Oh, I was about to forget Ruben. My goodness.
Today you should get a full shot.
Oh, when he comes in for sports updates later on, please, whoever is behind the camera, make sure you give us a full shot of Ruben Pima Chibirango, the sports guy on Good Morning Uganda. You will know what I'm talking about. But good morning, dear viewers. And Chantal, for me, first of all, the stories that made the week are one thing, but the story that is going to make the news tonight, tomorrow, is the opening ceremony of the Olympics in Paris. My goodness, I can't wait to see it, because one thing I know for sure is that they usually blow our mind with the opening ceremony, and it's happening Ugandan time at around 8:30 p.m. So if you love the Olympics, be sure to tune in and watch it for yourself. Now, regarding the stories that stood out for me, I don't think anything has been bigger than the March to Parliament demonstrations, and of course the events that occurred before and after. Many people are in jail right now. They were remanded, and they will be coming back to court between the 30th of July and 6th of August. We will know whether they will be charged and detained, or if they will be granted bail, or if their cases will be overturned and thrown out.
Great. And also the president yesterday on his official ex-handle responded to the citizens, as well as also making a comment on the ongoing corruption protests, or anti-corruption protests rather, and he also emphasized on the fact that if at all it was a demonstration which the police was well aware of and the president was also part of, then it would then be something that would be patriotic.
He actually says they were planning to do evil things.
So if you can look into that particular statement that was released by the president, you get to realize that it was something that he was saying over the years. For example, in 2019, he joined the many Ugandans in the march against corruption, that anti-corruption walk that was rocking the country, where he joined thousands of Ugandans as well as other politicians in order to put corruption to an end.
The interesting thing about that walk was that some of the people that had been proven guilty were actually part of the walk, and the question is, had they transformed or not? But then again, please do note that these demonstrations were spearheaded by the Gen Zs, but if you look at some of the people that were arrested, they're not actually Gen Z. So that means it was an entire, it had to be a collection of people trying to fight against corruption. Uncle Bob, good morning, and how is your Friday morning?
Well, usually my Friday depends on my pockets and my health.
Ha.
Yes, because...
Is your pocket happy?
Once the pockets are very happy and my health is equally happy, then I move into the weekend very excited.
I'm not hearing a yes.
But if they are not very happy...
2nd August, Hoima Resort Hotel on Saturday, 3rd August, Masindi at Vija Hotel on Sunday, 4th August 2024. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that.
Okay.
The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again. You're still watching Good Morning Uganda Friday special, and what happens every single Friday, we tone it down and make sure that we usher you into the weekend in the most lively show you will find on a Friday morning like this one, making sure that much as you're getting all the information that you need, because we still give you all the news and all the pertinent conversations, but also a bit of entertainment for you, especially usually the week is quite long depending on where and what you do, but we are always here for you. Joining me this morning, we are having a conversation on the uptake of female condoms. And I'm having this conversation with Olive Monica, Najuma, and Joram Paul Sonko. And in this very conversation, we are going to be looking at the factors that are hindering the uptake of female condoms. And yesterday I was telling something to Olive, and I was telling her, usually when you talk about preventive measures, especially like those, if you're going to the contraception part, the biggest percentage of some of those measures usually look at more of the man. Usually for the woman, they'll concentrate more on what, for you not to conceive. But then on the part of the man is where you realize that the man is, in most cases, more in control. And maybe that is why some of these, that is why the condoms were put in place. But for about 26 years, we have seen these condoms in our markets, and they were developed. There's only one brand that is approved by the FDA to be supplied and used. But then again, that also does not give it does not give it the fact that it is not getting the popularity it should be getting. Only a 2% of the population of Uganda, and this is according to the Ministry of Health, demands for the female condoms, vis-a-vis the percentage of the male condoms that are asked for, and this goes up to about there are reports indicating a shortage of 150 million male condoms, a shortage, and that goes to say that more male condoms are being used or being purchased. But then again, let's now dive into this conversation. Let's look at the myth. Let's look at what exactly is hindering, or the factors that are hindering the uptake of female condoms. And I want to ask Olive a very interesting question. Olive, have you ever used a female condom? Okay, and the reason as to why I ask is because you and I fall in the other percentage, I think the 98% of those that have never demanded for the female condoms or even used them. And maybe you would like to tell us some of the factors that could be hindering the uptake of these condoms. Could be your personal ones or even the general ones.
Honestly speaking, I have never considered them. I didn't even know that we have them on the Ugandan market. I remember when I was younger, way before I was even, of age, I remember a conversation by the adults in the house regarding these female condoms. And even then, I think I must have been like 13 or 14. I still remember when my big sisters were talking about them, they were a bit on the fence. I'm looking forward to hearing that story, especially on the parents in the living room discussing some of these condoms. Sonko, have you interacted with someone who has advocated for the use of female condoms?
I've not really interacted with many that are advocating for the use. The ones that I've interacted with have been doctors who have actually been giving us advice that these condoms are also on the market. Looking into the same report bringing us to this conversation, it also revealed that these condoms have been in the were on the market since 1998.
26 years.
So meaning 26 years on the market. And then when you look at the figures showing 98% of the females are not highly interested or have no intention of using these particular condoms, clearly shows you what the major problem is today, or lack of awareness, and are people even interested to have these condoms used, or are the females even interested to have these condoms used? Now, it goes back to the kind of society we have, and the kind of so it goes back to the kind of society that we do have today, and the kind of cultural approach in regards to, let's say, the contraceptives use.
Did you know that the government spent about $600,000 to procure about 1.2 million condoms, with an estimated 3 million condoms set to be purchased and still to be purchased or should be purchased. But then again, that has still, even after that purchase and them being available, they are not being used. And also, when it comes to the spread of HIV, you realize that the prevalence remains 3% higher for women than men.
Well, and you see, I think our worry here is, I put in the concept of culture and society, is that how do we even look at this? I don't know if you happen to ask many of the men in society, if at all they would even agree
to using the male condoms.
To using the male condoms per se. When it comes to even the uptake of contraceptives in the country, there is a very huge worry or concern that not everyone is highly interested in the use of the condoms. However much they seem to be the most common, you know, because when you move to hospitals, these are some of the recommendations the doctors give you. So you're either, because very few Ugandans are willing to abstain.
Right.
Now, it's either they're going to tell you to use the condoms, and that is like the most effective preventive measure for the men. Now, in most cases, you do realize that most men will either use the condoms simply because of one, either they do not want to maybe, that if at all, if someone is cautious, is telling them, I do not trust this person, so let me just use the condom.
Yes, yes.
But for those who have even used it, if you ask them what has been your experience, many would say they wouldn't love to use these condoms. So, meaning, if at all, even the men who we regard as, you know, the ones that love using contraceptives or whose contraceptives are highly on the market, then it will be very, very difficult to appease a woman to use a condom. And the other question is, do women even know how these condoms are used?
Well, most of the women actually say they're cumbersome. But Olive was still telling us a story of a conversation in the living room about these condoms.
So it turns out the first batch of female condoms arrived in Uganda in 1998. So, and I think that's around the same time when I had this conversation by my big sisters, and they were on the fence regarding using the female condom. Now, back then, there used to be a misinformation regarding the same. Women were being told that to use the female condom, you're supposed to insert it into your lady parts an hour before intercourse. And you know how cumbersome anything inserted in, it's like a foreign body.
Yes, that is true.
So you'll be very uncomfortable. Now, there is that, but when you look at the women who don't want to use the female condoms, or the few that have tried it, they say that it has, first of all, it has a rough texture as compared to the male condoms.
Right.
Then there is the squeaky sound during intercourse, and many women find that embarrassing. But also there is the other aspect, Chantal, where coming from a patriarchal society, many women would rather leave matters regarding their reproduction to their partners. You are using, why, for instance, why are you using a condom in the first place? It is a contraceptive, and also it protects you against STIs or sexually transmitted infections
and
yes,
diseases.
And diseases. But now if you leave this matter, this great matter, by the way, because let's look at it this way. If you don't use it as a contraception, when you get pregnant, whose life is alternated the most?
The lady.
The lady.
If you do not use it and the other person you've left the decision to probably brings you an STI, maybe a disease, you are going to alternate your life. So for me, I think that in as much as the conversation we are having today is about female condoms, I also think we need to cast the net wider and talk about reproduction and also protection against STIs and diseases as women. We cannot let the decision for protection against unwanted pregnancies and against illnesses in the hands, we cannot leave them in the hands of our partners. So women don't want to use the female condom, and I understand that, but I think there is a problem. How much information, Chantal, have you found? Any literature by the Ministry of Health regarding this? I have not seen anything.
No, but I think
there is, but it's not to the tune we would expect. Though we advocate for these condoms, the way they place condoms in different public places and restrooms.
For the male condoms.
Yes, and the report I was reading, I was telling you about, was from 2017. Now, that was a report from 2017, but up to now we still have not seen. We still have not seen much sensitization take place about these female condoms, and I think now that's where the ministry needs to come in, because there are a lot of myths around the female condoms.
But you see, we need to also face it. I don't know if the women, and the good thing is that you were on set this morning, I don't know if the both of you would wish to use them.
You see,
because now that is also another question.
Yes, Jerome, let me answer that question.
Okay.
would we wish to use them if we have enough information, education? Because right now, in one of the articles I've read, it says it has a rough texture, okay? But if you see, even male condoms come in different shapes and forms. Some are rough, some are not. So you could be here because one woman's experience said it has a rough texture. It has a squeaky sound. But another woman's experience could be different. So this is where mass sensitization, mass education regarding these condoms comes in. And probably if we have enough information, then we could consider using them. But the information is not there. At least I've not seen it.
Well, and you know why I asked about, you know, whether the women would love to use these condoms, because there are interactions even with the men, however available the male condoms are on the market. Even when you go to, let's say, university hostels, you'll find schools having this put in the same space. You will come to realize that the problem is not everyone wants to use
and why
these condoms.
Why
So
don't people want to use the condoms?
That is why I wanted to know from your side. When you listen to some men, they will tell you their personal experience. Someone will tell you, no, I do not want to use a male condom for reasons I feel, you know, in most cases they normally relate to a sweet in a cavera. Someone saying that I cannot take a sweet.
You had to play that card.
I cannot take a sweet if at all I have not peeled off.
Unwrapped it.
Exactly. So when you kind of have that example
the mentalities
from them,
and
that is why most men will tell you that for them they would rather let a female, let's say, take a birth control pill, and at the end of the day it is putting the other person
at the mercy,
exactly, at risk. And I want to believe that most of the women as well would rather have the man wearing a condom and she's not wearing anything.
Because for years, let's face it, Jerem, a lot has been done in the world of health regarding contraception and protection against HIV and other STIs. When it comes to protection against diseases, most of the services or the resources we have on the market right now, the man has to decide. He has to decide to wear the condom or to pull it off or to not use it at all. So it puts you at the mercy of your partner's decisions, okay? Now, when it comes to family planning, meanwhile, most of it is hormonal. It messes up women's hormones.
Right.
Most of it that has been put on the market is like most men, when I ask you right now, Sonko, would you ever in your life consider vasectomy? What would you say?
You've already got your response. He doesn't have to say much. You've already got your response.
So anyway, going back to Sonko's question, Chantal, would women want to use condoms, female condoms in particular? It's still the same answer. Do we have enough information about them? Because right now, my answer will be no. Because I don't know much about them. I don't know how I will feel about them. But also the other thing is, if condoms are such an inconvenience for both genders, can we now talk about testing and testing and testing and knowing your partners?
No, but you see, besides that, you
Your
realize
partner's
that
status?
the condoms don't only prevent us, like you said, from the STIs and everything.
Yeah.
They are also birth control methods.
Then
If
there
you
are
use
other
There are
birth
birth control methods.
on the market.
And then again, also,
But of
to
course,
be honest,
even others, not everyone
the
is
cost
willing
of
to use the
testing
others.
for all the diseases you could catch through unprotected sex might be a higher cost. I'm now speaking from a layman. Might be a higher cost that you cannot incur every single time you're going to have a sexual intercourse with a person.
And that is when the elephant in the room needs to be addressed. You either abstain or stay loyal.
No,
and
I
I know when
mentioned
I say
something
stay
about-
loyal, even the people watching are like, does she know what she's saying? Yes, I know what I'm saying.
But the loyalty bit is okay. The abstaining is the tricky part, especially for those who are already
Sexually
active.
Yeah, very
the
well said.
abstaining is very difficult.
Well, we do have
and
only-
it will be only active for maybe someone who's willing to join the celibacy gang or someone who's
Like
still
someone
in
I
school.
know. Like someone.
If you've not yet met your life partner, you can be celibate for a bit. It
That
doesn't
would
hurt,
be a
does
conversation
it?
for another day.
Well, we
Life
actually have about 3 minutes to close this conversation. And what do we do from here what are the next steps? And I'll start with you, Sonko. What would be the next steps? And also, if we do have some comments, it would be nice to have them, and then we can wrap up the conversation.
Well, I think the next steps would be the awareness. And the beauty is, Oliver has also shared that if at all we were, the women were more aware, because having condoms on the market for 26 years, and the conversations we've been having, or even when you happen to go to public spaces, the only most available condoms are male condoms, then it means we have not also been intentional as a country to ensure, the health, the health experts have not been intentional to ensure that these condoms are of interest to the women or to the ladies today. So if at all we can create room whereby people get to know how to use them, because now that is also a very serious topic. There was a time when many of, a majority of men in the country didn't even know how to use a condom.
Right.
And yet people thought it is as easy as, opening a sweet or something. So you get to realize that making sure that people do know, I'm just using an easy example. So making sure that people know how to use these female condoms, and then also letting them know about the benefits and then the health factors that are likely to be of high risk to them. Because you see, Ugandans look at two sides of the coin. They need to see how risky is it if at all I use the female condom. If at all that is not enough, someone would also wish to know if there is no much risk, then if at all I use them, of what benefit will I gain besides, because Ugandans really love the good side of everything.
Thank you, Sonko.
Yeah,
please finish.
The benefits. we need to know the advantages and then the risk factors, because that is one thing that scares most people from even using some contraceptives.
Yes.
That the risk factors at times, if you look at the risk factors, they overweigh the benefit of using a contraceptive.
Well, I don't know if those were your parting shots, Olive. What would be your parting shots, and what can we do to make this even better?
Well, what I have on my mind is no different from what Sonko has said. There is limited marketing and awareness when it comes to female condoms. Many women don't know about them. Now, I heard about them I heard about them when I was in my teens, early teens. And I swear to God, I didn't even know that they're still on the market today. Now, if a person who is as informed and knowledgeable as myself doesn't have this information, imagine a lady somewhere else, probably in hard-to-reach areas, and you're saying they can use this to protect themselves. Also, the other thing, so risk factors. Well, what do we do? Because some women are afraid that the condom will get stuck there. So how do we deal with that part? Is it true that it will get stuck? What are the risk factors we need to know? And of course, what else? Culture and social stigma. Do you realize that in as much as today we can even sit on the national broadcast and have a conversation like this, there are still places where you cannot have a conversation about sex, you cannot have a conversation about protection and anything to do with sex. It is a taboo. So if we are to embrace any contraceptive or family planning method or female condoms, we need to open up rooms for conversation. And by the way, we need to start with the men in these places. If you want me to use a female condom, you need to teach the man.
Okay. I think even accessibility.
Yes.
Great.
Let the Ministry of Health make these condoms accessible as much as the male condoms are accessible.
Yes.
So we
And
also
even
need
the
these
price.
ones accessible.
Okay, we do have about 2 comments. Obed from Kakoambara says, thanks for the show. Very good morning. The cause of low uptake of female condoms in Uganda is limited awareness of availability and the use of those condoms. Another problem is that women do not seem to be responsible and even interested in any sexual process. They assume it's the man's responsibility to initiate and again be responsible for all other circumstances that they will come across. Then Derek Gargamel says, Personally, I've never stared at a female condom before, and I think even then, I happen to see them myself. I can easily mistake them with anything else. But me, I can't advocate for them because unlike men, women's sexual organs are very sensitive, and accidentally that thing can slide inside and cause serious problems. I think male condoms are enough for protection. This much of anything. Tebachi Susa, cricketer Gagamel from Makindi Luwafu. Now that's it.
Something very tiny.
1 second, because we've overrun already.
Okay, for me, it is advice to women. To this day, women still steer clear of buying contraception condoms. They think it is a man's responsibility to buy the condoms. But I believe if you want to protect your life and you don't know the status of the other person, you should be able to walk into the pharmacy and buy the condoms for yourself.
Great, and that's it for our conversation this morning. Coming up is going to be a conversation on tourism, and Alan Namisango is already in the house.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't go.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you the tragic story of the mighty empire of Bunyoro Kitara. Enjoy the story of Africa's mighty warrior Omkama Kabalega in Tuko Pamoja Bunyoro segment.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
When the Bachweze weekend that we see the emergence of all these other kingdoms that were under Bunyoro Kingdom. That's Buganda, Bunyoro, Karagwe, Rwanda, Burundi, Nkore.
We are similar people. And genetically, we are even the same people.
Use that word pamoja. Kagadi at URDT Institute on Friday 2nd August. Hoima Resort Hotel on Saturday 3rd August. Masindi Atibija Hotel on Sunday 4th August 2024. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Junko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that.
Okay.
The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
107.3 Kampala, 96.9 Mbale, 95.7 Jinja, 98.6 Soroti. You are all covered.
UBC Butego.
possible. Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Fine said. Once again, welcome to the show. It's Good Morning Uganda Friday special. Now, with me on set is Fine Cedra, or he says, call him Cedra, and we're going to be having a brief conversation, get to know him, but also get to hear his music this very morning. So welcome aboard. Let's have this conversation and let's entertain you and usher you into the weekend. Cedra, it's good to have you on the show. How are you today?
Good morning, Uganda. My name is Cedra. I'm good.
Great. And Cedra, what kind of music do you do?
I do R&B soul music.
R&B soul music. You have like the soul voice that can,
of course,
you know?
Yeah, just the flow.
Okay. Cedra, I've not yet come across your music, and I'm looking forward, or I could have come across it, but not even known that this was the artist. It happens to us sometimes. You come across music and you're like, this sounds good. Yeah, and then you start wondering, who is this person? So for how long have you been here?
So far it's now 2.5 years.
You want to speak in millions? I'm hearing 2 point.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And how has the experience been for you in such a saturated industry?
Things aren't easy, by the way, but you have to pursue everything.
Right. What are some of the challenges you have faced in those years?
At most, it's the financial side of it.
The financial side of it. Do you think that could be a challenge that is faced by a number of upcoming artists?
Of course, that's the thing. Money.
Money.
Everybody gets money, so that's the thing, the main problem.
Great. But then again, much as there is some of those challenges, what has enabled you to keep moving? I'm sure the first year was not as easy as the second year has been, much as the 2 years have been hard, or have been having some challenges.
It's only one thing, that music is my passion. I love it, so I have to, persevere everything, you know.
Okay. As an artist, what is the first thing you do when you wake up?
Vocal drills.
Vocal drills?
Yeah,
So let me ask, are you supposed to take warm water or room temperature water and a banana? Do you do that every morning though?
Nope. Like for real, just take like warm water sometimes.
Yes.
Just make the vocal drills.
Okay. Yeah. What do you have some collaborations that you have done that we can look out for?
So far, I'm working on my EP. It has some good collaborations.
Some good collaborations.
So it will be dropping soon.
Yeah. Do you have management?
No, I'm a solo artist.
You are a solo artist, because I was going to ask about the relevance of management. Although over time we have seen artists fall out with their management, do you think management is really necessary? Or as an artist, you can actually hire people and say, you're in charge of my events, you're in charge of my PR, you're in charge of my studio sessions and stuff like that. What do you think?
That's a good question. By the way, this thing, it works like this. You have to get somebody to help you in music, because things aren't easy.
Right.
But at times, you do everything. You can do everything alone. But it's good to have management.
It's good to have management. Okay, you just said you are you're going to be putting out an EP very soon. Yeah. So for now, what kind of music do you have that is already out there, and how has been the reception in the public?
So far, I have 9 songs out.
9 songs out. Great.
And by the way, you guys, I really appreciate your love.
You've received a lot of love from the public.
Yeah.
And could you have had some performances on maybe some stages, and would you like to share with us your experience, especially the first time you stepped on stage to perform?
Like as reality, the first time I stepped on stage, things were kind of low. The vibe was low, but currently right now I see the vibe.
You see the vibe?
Yeah.
Well, you know, usually, I think for every single person, the first time experience is usually a bit challenging.
Yeah.
And how did you get out of it? Because some people don't recover. They get on stage, and if they don't get the reception they were expecting or hoping to get,
they can depressed.
Yes. How did you recover from that part where you try to pull the crowd? You know, for example, for the part of comedians, I think one of the worst experiences they can have is going on stage to make people laugh and no one laughs or a few laugh, and they don't get to connect with their audience. So how did you recover from that?
But by the way, all you should know, maybe that you always have your own target. So in case you go to a wrong target, you will be what? Depressed. But in case you get your target, as in your audience, you see the vibe. You see what? You know.
There is you know, someone who wants to become an artist like you right now. They're saying that to them you've made 2.5 years in the industry, and they're thinking, I would love to take the first step. I would love to, you know, to start. How do you get started?
As in, all you should do is to start.
You should start.
Wake up in the morning, go in studio, sing.
But then again, I probably don't have the money to go to studio.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
Okay, lastly, you will be performing for us. What are some of the songs you're going to be performing for us?
I have a variety of songs, by the way.
Okay.
My current song, as the latest one, it's called Alteza.
Alteza?
Yeah. Alteza.
Like the car?
Yeah, man.
Okay, okay.
Maria, Bestie, and a song called Musamize.
I think I've heard the song called Musamize. See, I told you. I think I've heard some of your songs, but I could not attach a face to these songs. And then, so which song are you going to be performing for us first?
First, I think it will be, Alteza.
The first is going to be Alteza. Well, as someone who has driven an Alteza before, I can tell you, I think I'm going to like that song. So, how do we get you? And do you do performances? Where and when? What kinds of performances do you do?
All kinds of performances.
All kinds of
wedding
performances. Wedding,
shows, everything.
Everything. And
music.
All kinds of music. And so, where can we find you on social media? How do we get you? How do we follow you? How do we get to know your work more and stuff like? Where do we get your music from?
All my handles, it's Fine Cedra.
Fine of F-Y-N.
On the screens. Fine F-Y-N.
Yes.
Then Cedra. All handles, as Instagram, YouTube, everywhere.
Great. Yeah, well, and that will be it from the conversation with you, unless if you have something to say to the viewer. Short of that, I think I'll just leave you to it. I'm looking forward to the song Alteza.
All I can say is much love. Thank you so much.
Great. And now over to you, Cedra.
Yeah, man.
Baby, yekwandetera okukoza maanyi kurundifumitwa mpaka kufa naye sooka kwetekereza oba tonafuna kamoko nawe kirabo kikye mmanyi okukira kukwe katonda kyayinza okugaba twatta mu kagogo musaayi mpita buli lw'olumwa ogwana kwesikalisa grana kunzijukisa akamwenyuko banja onono olimanyo libunafu wange abuliro serira nyweza nze I'll make it simple for you baby a world full of love cause you deserve it olimanyo libunafu wange buliro serira nyweza nze I'll make it simple for you, baby. A world full of love, cause you deserve it. Akukwe kwenji kitoko, akarirandi kukunyama, nyobutava wori. Twe kwa siri full of your love, kuba mfenyonta, baby. Kuno mutima gukuba, agukuba mukwano gongankuba. Kirabo kikye mmanyi okukira kukwe katonda kyayinza okugaba kuyita motoka kapyata uteza yegwa mbuga Okwana kwesikaliza baby Kurana kunzijukiza Akamwenyu kubanja nawe Uno Oli manyoli unabuwange Abuliro serira nyweza I'll make it simple for you baby A world full of love cause you deserve it Oli manyoli unabuwange Abuliro serira nyweza I'll make it simple for you, baby, baby. Oh no, no, no. Kusabaka drop of water, full of your love, kuba mfenyonta, baby. Kuno mutima agukuba mukwano gongankuba. Iyagwe ande tero manya, ensi etambula. Era oli chitundu kunze, entobo kwensinzirira. Oli Abuliro serira nywezanze I'll make it simple for you baby A world full of love cause you deserve it Olima yoli unabuwange Abuliro serira nywezanze Baby oh no 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 Hey yeah yeah baby oh no no Yeah da 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 Yeah, man. I'm on next song. Lega. No. Byona byeno boja. Bikola ramwano no. Akubango wange mbecha. Suzana mulubiyeyo. Wansi membuku. Mukwekeyo. Chegata musande. Agaya yako ono Talina na kompitita Love yesa la jirita Ona nandwa zane ntunuka Baby yago lintegeka Talina na kompitita baby Love yesa la jirita Ona nandwa zane ntunuka Baby yago lintegeka Kamutare Abiringa wange Oh no, akamutare, mama, abiringa wange. Oh baby, tolina buzibu, tolina kugaya. Gwe wampala vekira balala, alavu yenzibu, lavu yendala. Oh mwano no, chofola nanze nyangwiriza. Jagala mutuke ko wanchali waka. Paga leo loga Takwatana nigga Oh baby And I give nothing more Mwana yasomesa love and graduating Si chachula baby Love yesa la jirita Una nandwa zane ntunuka baby Baby yago lintegeka Tolina na kompitita Love yesa la jirita Una nandwa zane ntunuka Baby yago lintegeka Kamutare Abiringa wange Baby Kamutare yetalumwe Abiringa wange Oh no Byona byeno mboja Ambikola ramwano no Kubango wange mbecha Asuzana mulubiyeyo Oh bansi membuku Mukwekeyo Chekata musande Agaya yako Talina na kompitita Luvye salajita Una nandwa zane tunuka Abibi yago lintegeka Kamutwale No Abiringa wange Nana Kamutwale yetalumwe Abiringa wange Oh no Talina na kompitita Love yesa la jirita Una nandwa zane tunuka Ono mwana yako lintegeka
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Topic of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
107.3 Kampala, 96.9 Mbale, 95.7 Jinja, 98.6 Soroti. You are all covered.
UBC Mutego. UBC Mutego.
Juko. Yo. Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you the tragic story of the mighty empire of Bunyoro Kitara. Enjoy the story of Africa's mighty warrior Omkama Kabalega in Tuko Pamoja Bunyoro segment.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
When the Bachweze weekend that we see the emergence of all these other kingdoms that were under Bunyoro kingdom. That's Uganda, Bunyoro, Karagwe, Rwanda, Burundi, Nkore.
We are similar people.
And genetically we are even the same people.
Use that word pamoja.
Kagadi at URDT Institute on Friday 2nd August. Hoima Resort Hotel on Saturday 3rd August. Masindi Atibija Hotel on Sunday 4th August 2024. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, are you a woman in business? I believe that the conversation we're about to delve into is one that may concern you. But even if you're not a woman in business, but you think about being in business, there is the Women in Business Expo 2024 that is taking place at the National Theatre. I'm not the organizer, but I do have with me the organizer of this event. And I like that we are opening up different conversations and channels and different avenues to involve women into the world of business. Gone are the days when women were only known for staying at home, raising the children, making food, which are not bad things, by the way. You are supposed to do them because these are life skills. But it's important that we are now broadening the channels for women to be financially independent. And I love that you are going to have this conversation with Barbara Atusasira, who is the CEO, Tassos Films. She's a lady in film, but also a lady in business. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
You look nice.
Thank you.
You look beautiful.
You too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, now when we speak business and women in business, a lot comes to my mind, and also there has been a contention on the fact that in most cases when we talk about women in business and or inviting women into business, we invite them into small businesses that don't even grow them, where we don't expect them to amass wealth. We expect them to start just a small business to for me, it comes off as to have an excuse that you have something that you do on a daily. So I would like to know what inspired you to come up, first of all, with the Women in Business Expo.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I am a woman.
Yes.
And I love, from a long time ago, I loved the hustle. You know, go out, make the money.
Yes.
Go out and also hunt for some of these things. So I looked at myself and I looked at the potential that is in other women. And I, just like you were saying, that the narrative is tandikaya kadala, you know, just a small little thing that will bring a little bit of income. But when you look at the trajectory of even just the families, we have a lot of female-led families. They have all these children, but sometimes you even have the man, you have the woman, and the economy has become really, I can't say hard, but yes, life is very expensive. And you just can't just say that you're going to leave it only to the men, that they're the ones that are going to. So it's really, it's important that the women rise to the highest of their potential. And that is a discussion that probably some families or societies or people don't want to have. That, so who's going to take care of, who's going to take care of the home, who's going to, you know. But in us, God has created more than just home caretakers.
Yes.
We are vicious in business. We can't be vicious in business, vicious in a good way.
Yes.
And I really believe that women still have a lot to discover about themselves, and they have been told that this is where you can stop, the boundary. But time and time we are breaking these boundaries. And so why I organize these events is because I would like to see the testimonies of flourishing, people getting knowledge, because the good book that I read tells me that we perish due to lack of knowledge. And so this is also knowledge. Women need to know who they are. What are my gifts? What are my talents? What are my, how far can I go? Never say, oh, I will only go until here. No, break the boundary. How far can you go? How big a business can you grow? So that is why I'm very passionate about these events.
All right. Well, break through the glass ceiling as a woman, and I like that because we have limiting beliefs as women. When it comes to, let's say, how we present ourselves and even our businesses, however small, when you put a man here and you put a woman here and you ask a man to talk about his business, he's going to say, we have these projections, this is our strategy. He will talk about akadala like it is a big business. And then the woman will come and say, I have just a small kadala there. So when it comes to attitudes and how we present ourselves in business as women, how does the expo help women to come out even big and better?
Yeah, so some of the things actually we are handling in the business, in the summit, sorry, not the summit, the expo, is networking. Learn how to network, and in networking you're learning how to sell your business. There was one that I attended recently at Ideation Corner, and they were talking about creating a time every week to network for your business. it is like a hunt, like be intentional. It was very touching for me, because sometimes you find yourself networking when you really need something, or you network when you know, but making it a daily, and you're like, I had someone had this. Can you go talk to them for me, or can I asking for a meeting, being proactive, you know? So those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about, networking. And the other thing actually that we're going to be talking about is at the expo is mental health of women in the workplace.
Oh, that's a very huge subject.
Yes, you find that your productivity lowers because a woman definitely has, there is something that a woman holds. You're holding it at home, and you have to hold it here in your business.
Different facets to life.
So you're like, how do I balance this both so that this doesn't and this? So we have people that actually have created systems that can help a woman balance these things. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be, you know, talking about. Of course, the women that also we have invited are women that have fallen and risen. They have built businesses and they are exporting and all those things. So one of the things we want to tackle, according to your question, is the exports. How women can package their products and services for export to look for market outside of the country.
Okay.
So they're definitely going to grow and learn.
All right. Are there going to be women showcasing products and services that they offer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when we put out the call for exhibitors and all, we have had people from Fort Portal calling, people from Kayunga are coming. They're farmers that they're doing wines out of, I think, pineapple. We've had people from ginger that are coming in. Like we've found that they're different, the different districts, women in the different districts have gotten, you know, interested. So it's going to be a vast, expo where women are going to be showcasing their goods and services.
Okay. Interesting. So this event, the Women in Business 2024, is taking place at the National Theatre, and it is organized by Tasso Films, which is led by Barbara Atusasira. Now, Barbara, on which date is the event taking place?
So that is next Tuesday, the 30th of July.
Do I have to pay a fee?
No, it is not for paying. Apart from if you want to exhibit, definitely you have to, you know, part with something really small. You can just, you know, visit our socials and get the numbers that you need to get to us so that we can prepare for you. But any woman that is out there and you want to learn, you want to be coached, you want to be inspired, you want to network, it is very important for you to come to the National Theatre on the 30th of July, 2024. That is Tuesday from 8 a.m. And but it's very good for you to tell us before time so that we can prepare for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still you're still receiving exhibitors.
Yes, we're still receiving exhibitors. We're still receiving participants.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is exhibitors and then there is participants. What's the difference?
Okay. So the participants, they're all participants, but the ones that we're talking about are the ones that are going to sit in the auditorium to learn from the panels. But yeah. And then the exhibition, of course, is going to be outside, so that's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're a woman, you would like to delve into the world of business, and probably you don't know how to start. You need someone to mentor you. You need someone to start this journey with you. And by starting this journey, they may not be giving you capital per se, but probably there will be a woman or two that are dealing in exactly the venture you want to deal in. So this is where you come in. You go, you talk to like-minded women and see how you can start. And if you're experiencing difficulties, in most cases, business is lonely. And most people need someone to tell them you're not alone. you can do this. I had this experience. So when you do find out that this experience is not unique to only you, then probably you won't give up and you will dust yourself up and continue. So personally, I believe this is the importance of an expo like this. And as a woman, you should try it out, because gone are the days, I repeat, gone are the days when your sole duty as a woman in this life was to give birth to babies, raise the babies, and cook food. You can still give birth to babies, raise the babies, cook the food, and also run a business. So speaking about, I know I am a woman, so this interests me really much. It excites me. But someone would wonder, why women? Why only women? Because let's face it, even men need help. So why women?
Yeah, there's some men that just binge our shows. They our events. They just come. They're like, why are you organizing for women only?
Okay.
One, I'm a woman. That is why I have a heart to see women get to a certain level. I relate my challenges in business are very, they're not entirely different from a man, but I have a unique set of challenges. I am a mother.
Yes.
Some are mothers and some are wives at the same time.
Yes.
There are responsibilities that are attached to us, but then there is also the business that you want to grow.
Yes.
So the kind of talk that you're going to have, for example, you were saying something about a man standing and talking about their business and a woman standing and talking about her business. And she says, Nina kadala.
Yes.
Some even have schools and they say, Nina kasomero. You know, that car thing. Why do we put a car on ourselves?
Why are we modest?
Yes, and I'll use an example of me in the field when I'm bargaining. You find that a man doesn't want to pay you, especially if it's a guy that is transacting with you. They probably don't want to pay you the amount that they're going to pay a guy to do the same kind of work. They feel like maybe you don't need the money as much, or you know, the bargaining power is a certain kind of dynamic.
Exactly.
And we're trying to break that. And so when you find me bargaining for my work and speaking about my work, it's some people will be like, hey, are you a man or what? No.
It's actually sad that we relate things like bargaining power or how much you should pay to the genders. But anyway, if you want to hear more of these conversations, this was really a very insightful conversation, then you should go to the National Theatre on the 30th of July 2024 and get to be a part of the Women in Business Expo. I won't take this conversation any further, but Barbara Atusasira from Tasso Film said you can reach them on all their socials and you will have more information regarding